You're welcome back to the AM Weekend Show. My name is Divine Onoha. I'm still here with my guy, Ogochukwu Osai. We have something very juicy to talk about. I will be delving into the world of AI. We'll be looking at the impact of AI in our education sector. We want to check if it's harmful or helpful. And joining us to have that conversation is Mr. Chibuike Aguene, who is the CEO of Bildup AI. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You look dashing, by the way.
Thank you.
Is this what you AI gurus wear?
No.
Simple and classic.
No, wear jeans.
You wear jeans?
T-shirt.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
So why you
Why
on
just rich today?
Senator today?
Maybe to represent the culture.
Okay.
A bit.
Okay.
A bit, yes.
Nice.
Okay, just so
looks
you don't make us
nice.
feel,
Yes.
sometimes
You
these
would not be
AI
asking, who
guys,
is this guy
these
that
tech
just
guys.
walked in here with
Guys, keep it
jeans
cool.
and T-shirts? Huh?
Yeah. But it's cool though. It's
Thank
cool.
you, thank you.
So we're going to be
Very good.
getting into the conversation. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. It has influenced a lot of things. Influenced learning process, influenced teaching, influenced a whole lot of things, influenced business. Every day we keep seeing new dimensions, new layers. And amidst all these promises, beyond all these promises that AI is giving, is it really helpful or harmful if we're taking a look at it critically, especially, you know, in the education sector, which happens to be our focus today? So to, you know, start that conversation, I'd like us to, let me ask this question first. Would you say that AI has encouraged students to learn? Because we've had this conversation severally. People are saying that, I mean, there was this whole thing about AI taking over. And then, since we're focusing on education now, there's this whole thing about students getting lazy. You know, they don't want to study anymore. They don't want to do anything anymore. I'm sure you're ready for that question. Let me hear what you think about it.
Okay, thank you once again for having me. First of all, it's beyond helpful in terms of the impact of AI. Helpful is understatement. You know, the educational system, not just in Nigeria, but Africa, across Africa, needs total overhaul. Improvement will not work, and that kind of transformational impact that we need in the educational sector, AI is the only way that it can happen, right? So you asked a very insightful, the question you asked, very, very useful. And I think that has come up a lot anywhere the conversation about AI. For example, we need to interrogate what is really education before we can answer that question correctly.
Okay.
Yes. Is education gathering people together, giving them quiz and exams, and then they have to recall whatever you taught them earlier and then answer it? If that is what is education, then accessing additional information is now a threat. So that means you can say AI is going to make students lazy, they will have access to more information and all that. But if education is about gaining knowledge to make meaningful impact, not just in an organization where you work, but making impact in the community where you live, then access to more information is an asset. And that's what AI will help you to do. And beyond that, personalization. So we should stop looking at education from the point of view of exams, writing exams, because that's where the issue of when student becomes lazy comes up, right? Because people would now assume that instead of maybe recalling whatever was taught in the class, they would just use AI, search for information and all that. So we're talking about access to additional information, which is what AI enables people to do.
Okay.
So it's not going to make anybody lazy. AI will triple whatever capacity that we have as human beings, 10x every capacity that we have, and then have meaningful impact across every sector. So for students, it's a game changer because with AI now, you can have personalized learning. Okay. Personalized learning without AI is practically impossible because students to teacher ratio is about 50 to 1. In some cases, maybe 30 to 1. And in that sense, you see that personalized learning is practically impossible. And without personalized learning, you can't have meaningful education because some people are maybe slow-paced learners. That does not mean they are not smart. That does not mean they have learning disorder, right? It's just the question of they learn, they assimilate maybe a bit slower.
Slower.
Yeah. And then you talk about learning style. Some people learn through visual, auditory. There are different learning styles.
Which is not being put into consideration.
Which is not. So AI will help in terms of personalization, understand a student level of proficiency, understand learning pace, unique learning style, and then customize that learning solution. So it's going to help, and I think that is our best chance to actually match whatever that is being done, maybe in the United States or China. That is our best bet. So that any child anywhere in the world, in Africa or in Nigeria, whether in the village, irrespective of family income level, irrespective of family background or anything, can have access to quality education. That's what AI brings to the table. So I think it's going to do more than being helpful. It's going to transform the educational sector.
Now, that's quite insightful. You've actually explained the intentions of AI into the education sector. But sometimes it feels like AI is being abused to an extent with the way people use it. So that's where my concern is coming. With the way we use it here in this part of the world, maybe let me say, is it because we are not actually quite exposed to how do I put it? If we're actually not quite exposed to the ways of using it, now it now seems like we are abusing it. So do you think that we're actually abusing AI here in this part of the world? And what do you think we can do better to make sure that we use it? Because there is actually total dependence on AI. And it's to an extent where people don't actually reason on their own anymore. Everything is, to send the normal letter, you cannot sit down and think about writing something on your own. So what better ways can we actually start using AI for better results than being totally dependent on it, like we don't have our own brains?
Okay, thank you. I think, again, what does it mean to have our own brain, right? Because when the current educational system, when they designed it, I don't know the years, I don't know the dates, there was no mobile phone. You don't have access to a device whereby you can have information at your fingertips. It was practically impossible. So it's like knowledge was scarce then, right? So that means that ability to recall is that you are the most intelligent person. So in that sense, because when anybody says, if you're accessing information, it's making you lazy. If you have access to information at your fingertips, it doesn't make you lazy. Let me give you a typical example. You know, in school now they ask you, what is biology, what is physics, all those kind of stuff. If you know the definition, and I don't know it, but I can ask the right question and have the answer, do you have advantage over me?
I think the issue is this. I like the angle you're coming from. It's very powerful, which is information at our fingertips.
Yes.
But the problem is, at what cost? Let me speak from a personal experience.
Okay.
Perhaps it will, buttress what she's trying to ask. Personally, when I started using AI, I realized something. And I don't know who I'm supposed to give this disclaimer to, or I don't know. But you AI people, sorry if this offends you, but I don't feel like AI is that brilliant. I'm sorry to say, I'm speaking from personal experience. Now, I'm trying to get something done, and I put in the prompts the way I know that it should be put. I don't do I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm very specific. I like what I want, so I describe very well. Make sure to add, please, in a non-AI tone. If it's something I need AI to do for me, I put the prompts in there and I send it. And these people, they will now send me one thing once. I will correct and correct and correct until I'm so frustrated, I'll carry my pen and write that thing by myself. So it now makes it, so all this time we're wasting was for what? I could have just used my head. And sometimes I'm quarreling with ChatGPT. I'm saying, see, I'm the one who ended up giving you the answer. And he's telling me, oh, sorry, you made a strong point. There are times that ChatGPT will send me something like this. And I'll figure out this statement is wrong, this sentence is wrong. And I'll point it out. And it will apologize to me. So there is dependence now. Because me now, if I was not that dependent, I could have just sat down and crafted that thing by myself in the first place. And then there's the fact that it is not even trustworthy. 100%.
You engage your brain. There's a place where she engaged her brain to actually factor when the AI is wrong and when the AI is not wrong. You understand?
Okay.
Now,
that's in my dealing. Exactly.
There are people who are completely
clueless people now.
that just copy and go.
And go. Okay,
so
let
how
me.
do we manage this
Okay,
situation?
I love this conversation. The first thing I will say is this: the AI that you've been using is not designed specifically for a particular purpose, for a sector. I'll give a typical example. We just unveiled Bildup AI, primarily for education. Is the most, yes, is the most intelligent, I dare say, the most intelligent, super intelligent AI personal tutor. This is designed, I just want to use that to analyze the exam. This is designed for the educational sector, right? If you go to this generic AI and ask them question about maybe quadratic equation, what they're asking in school, you might experience that. If you might, right? But this one has been trained specifically. Yes, it has been trained, and we continue to train it, and continuously. What is the implication of that? It will now solve that specific problem, right? So what many people are using is generic AI that is available, right? And they want to solve specific problems, sector-related problem, or problem that is related to a particular industry that the AI has not been trained on. Right? Because you are not the one that made it. You are not the one that built it. They didn't have you in mind when they built it. They want to solve a particular problem in their area, and they built it and then made it available to everybody. So what we have done as an organization, as an AI startup, is to personalize AI for African context, right? Particularly educational sector. That solves that. But coming back to the issue of dependency. Now, the brain, what is using the brain? Is it in terms of just recalling or asking the right question? For example, we went to school. Did they train us on how to ask the right question? Were you trained in the university on ability to ask the right question? I was not trained.
I wasn't either.
I had to an extent in primary school.
Yes, because I studied journalism, there was a bit of that.
Yes, because I dare say that the intelligence of the future will not be who can recall the most. It will be the people that can ask the right question. In AI, it is called prompt engineering. There's a course now on prompt engineering.
Very important.
Yes, very important. Whereby you understand how to communicate with the AI. So using natural language. So in English, you can communicate effectively, ask the right question, and you get the right answer. And we're not trained for that, right? We're trained to recall. And then we now mistake the brain that your ability to recall makes you intelligent. That's where your brain functions, right? Is that really the way where our brain performs the task? When we are recalling, or when we can imagine things and ask the right question and seek answers, right? So for us, I'm telling you, the intelligence, people that are intelligent, 5, 10 years from now, or even 3 years from now, is going to be the people that will ask the right question. Because all the information that, let's just be practical now.
I'm curious again.
Let's just be practical now.
This man is headed somewhere.
Yes, let's just be practical now. Tell me anywhere, whether primary school, secondary school, anywhere, anything they will teach somebody that you can't access online. Then what's the essence of that again? If the information. So that means that intelligence, we have to rethink what is education. We have to rethink what it means to be intelligent, because all this information are now available. If they are available, why should I stress myself to recall them?
Okay.
Go on.
Now, you've touched certain things that are so powerful,
Thank you.
I must give it to you.
Thank you.
Especially when you talked about intelligence being the ability to ask the right question. That struck me really, because I'm going to be honest, sometimes now when I'm communicating with AI, I realize that the way it is, I'm prompting it, it's prompting me.
Yes.
As you're giving me those bad results, I am rethinking as well. I'm firing you back.
Yes,
I'm shaping the way I'm communicating with you. So it now makes me realize, sometimes when I want to feel guilty, I'm like, no, I can't feel guilty of using this, because the way I used it is not the way someone else used it. The way I communicated this thing, the way my mind was working when I was talking to it is different from the way someone else would have done it. So that gives me satisfaction. So it makes me feel, okay, you can use it in fact, the way you use it is what determines whether you are intelligent or not.
Thank you.
I have proofs.
Thank you.
This time, this lady sent me something, and as soon as I read it, and I have this thing that irks me when I read an AI-generated content, and I'm able to figure it. I mean, it's just so irky. So I took that same topic, and I went on AI, and I wrote, you know, do this for me differently, and it submitted. What it submitted, I didn't need to edit. I just sent it to her. They said, "Wow, you did this." I did not do it. I did the same thing you did, and I got this result. So that is brilliant, I admit. But this dependency thing, you've not really touched it well. You know why?
Yes.
So when your phone is not with you, what will you do? When your phone is not with you.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Being the person that assesses the information, that asks the right question.
Yes.
Now it comes to a situation where it feels like your brain is now lazy because you know that
you don't want to eat. You don't want to
you
think.
will not think again. You know that you just have to prompt. You get the information. Now you're not reading the information to know the information. You know that tomorrow, if you need that information again, you can still prompt and get back that information.
Yes.
So
the fact that we are no longer really thinking,
it's not reasoning.
engaging our brain anymore.
Engaging our brain, yeah.
I use AI very well. I do a lot of things with AI. The one I use, I've actually trained it to the point that it writes like me. So once I give an instruction or want something, it gives me exactly the way I write. So I don't have to do a lot of editing and all those things. But I feel like it's because I engage my brain to an extent with it. That's why it can actually give me exactly what I want.
That's right, answering the right question. You are confirming what I said.
You're
confirming what I just
You're
said.
saying the same thing. But now, see what the problem is, which is what I've mentioned it before.
Okay.
The fact that sometimes, number one, after prompting, after doing all those things, I figure out that I could have just sat down and thought about it. I feel like sometimes it's easier.
Why will you waste that time? Why don't you use it and do something else? That's the value of
problem
the
now
time.
is that, okay, one part of the problem is the fact that I feel like I have wasted time on that AI at that time.
Instead of doing
instead of doing it myself. So
let me even answer.
Then the second thing now, which is that dependency thing.
Yes.
When you're
not with your phone,
it's not with you. Okay, let me ask you, what made you think that there will be phone 5 years from now?
We don't know. That's why we're saying we need to engage in our brain.
What made you think that you have anything called mobile phone as you have it now? You can be walking and you have calls, you receive it, you are walking and then you need a direction and you are seeing the map. You don't know that's where the world is going?
Is that healthy?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Before we get to that, it's very simple.
Now, what I'm saying, your phone is
I cannot do what I want to do right now.
In the same vein, if I ask you a question from SS1, will you be able to answer it? All the questions, what we are taught. Now, you know why? So you can't recall all of them, but with artificial intelligence, you can. It's not a question of who remembers it, whether it's your brain or a device. The most important thing is that you can access this. And that's why, see, let me tell you.
Now, where is the place of learning in those?
Thank you. Let me tell you, the honest truth. And I say this to my team. It appears that human race is on a reset, and we are yet to realize it. Artificial intelligence will rank as one of the most important discovery in the history of mankind.
No doubt, actually.
This is machine having ability to reason and think, and in some cases better than human. We're thinking of artificial general intelligence. We are not yet there. We are not yet there. Yes, artificial general intelligence. But so what does that mean? Human race needs to rethink what it means to be intelligent, what it means to learn. I can tell you authoritatively that the only advantage human has over AI as of today, ability to connect the dots. Emotion, AI can have empathy. Let me tell you, ability to connect the dots. Okay. Like you are thinking, you are making sense of if this, which AI is getting there. That is where we have advantage now. I'm thinking, it doesn't make sense to me that ability to recall stuff. I should stress myself trying to recall something when I can just
actually
have
so-
access to
So
it.
here's the
Is it
thing.
actually
Yes,
I need
so
us
that
to-
we use that brain to
I need
think
us
of
to establish
something
something
else.
briefly.
Yes.
This whole thinking thing and this intelligence thing, we're not just referring to recalling.
Recalling.
There are some
I
things
know.
that it's not like they've taught you before, but it's something that if you stayed by yourself, you could figure it out.
Because of the level of
How about
you've
that?
acquired
It's
knowledge
not all about recalling.
over
No.
the
There's
time.
recalling. There's
Yes.
also your ability to
solve
be
certain
innovative.
problems.
So
to
what is
think of
bad
things.
in what is bad in something helping you to do
No,
that?
we're not saying it's bad.
You know, I have
Yes.
We're
see
looking
my
at
concern now.
Do you know? Let me answer very well now. Do you know that one of the most important things, 24 hours in a day, you can't have more than that, right?
Okay.
So you are trying as much as you could to get your time back.
Okay.
So anything that will help you to get your time back is an asset.
Okay, true.
So instead of trying to overstrain your brain, recalling, trying to do, and you have something that can do that, why don't you now utilize it to do something else that requires critical thinking?
Now, here is my concern. I understand this and we make use of this. But where is now the space of acquiring knowledge and learning? Since I know that anytime I need something, I can access this from this particular space. And when I access it, I'm not necessarily learning. I just want to like solve the problem at that particular time. Tomorrow I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So where do I now learn? Where do I now acquire knowledge
Okay.
to help
I think
myself
this one now
move
lies
forward?
in usage because the act of acting AI is an act of learning.
It's
But
an
it's you
act
that
of
now
learning.
decides that you
What
don't
do you
want
want to
to
learn?
Read through to
you just want
learn.
to go and submit it immediately.
You
So I
understand?
think
This is
that's
what
the
many people
difference.
actually use
Yes.
AI for.
We're running out of
Immediate
time.
answers, immediate questions.
I
collect
think
your
we're going to
answer.
have a part 2 of this conversation because we're running out of time. I have a
Okay.
lot of questions for you, but before we wrap up, because it's almost time, well,
Yeah,
the show
I
is
just
almost
looked
up,
and I saw
honestly.
already.
So we can't really continue, but let's talk about Bildup briefly. With what I have studied about Bildup, it's supposed to be like a super intelligent tutor for every child.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
It is not supposed to
Okay,
be.
okay,
Yes. It is a super intelligent AI personal tutor, first of its kind ever built. Bildup AI can think independently, reason. It can assess a student level of proficiency, pace, and unique learning style, and use that knowledge to create personalized learning solution for the child. You know what? The best way to imagine it is imagine having the world's best teacher, and then assigning them to student on a 1-to-1 ratio. Yes, just a student per the best teacher in the world. Ordinarily, this is an impossible thing to do. You will need more than 500 million new trained teachers to achieve that. But we've done that with Bildup AI. You don't need 500 million new teachers. You just need Bildup AI. And every child will have access to the best tutor. Even parents that are not educated from underserved communities can use Bildup, interact the way they can talk to their neighbors, and Bildup AI will do magic for their children.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time.
So I have just this last question. Is there a specific age? Because we were talking about children. Does it also apply to university students? Can they make use of it in their higher learning?
Okay, so the pilot run that we just released is for secondary school, JS1 to SS3.
Okay.
We are working on the one for both primary school and university currently. So we'll be releasing that very shortly.
All right.
Okay. I mean, I still have a lot. We still have a lot, actually. So I'm thinking we're going to have a part 2
Okay,
because there are various areas to explore. Like, we'd like
Thank
to
you.
know the place of human teachers if we have such a powerful system now working, and a whole lot of things to really look at. Even the emotion thing that we're talking about, the place for contacts. You know,
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot. We'll have to schedule for a continuation of this
Yeah.
particular
Thank you very
conversation.
much.
But
Okay.
this has been powerful so far. I like
Thank you
your
very
bigger.
No, I enjoyed the conversation.
And aside the question we've been, asking, I strongly believe in AI. I love what AI is doing. I love what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. And I think
Thank
one
you.
thing I've picked from this conversation, one of the things that really answers most of the question was when he said that it's about getting these AIs to focus on specific niches or
Yes,
specific
yes.
sectors. I think that makes a lot of sense.
You may.
It will, reduce all this asking and
Yes,
But I have an
Mm.
experience actually. Just like I said, I use AI a lot, and I've tried to use specific AIs for specific things, and it ends up not giving me exactly what I want. When I go back to generic one, I get what I want.
perhaps those
Do
ones
you
are
have
poorly
a
developed.
teenager? If you have someone that maybe fall within JS1 to SS3, let them use Bildup AI. You have a different
I'm
experience.
going to test.
Okay, we're going
Yes.
to try Bildup
I'm going to-
AI
yeah.
so that when we'll have our next conversation,
Yes.
we'll have more.
Yes.
We
We'll have
have
more to say.
argue with.
But it's been interesting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you for
was
having me.
Mr. Chibuike Aguene, the CEO Bildup AI. And of course, if you want to get in touch with the app, how are they supposed to do it?
Yes,
Is it on Play Store?
Bildup AI on every social media, and of course, bildup.ai. Our website.
Bildup.ai.
Yes.
Okay, that's how to access
Can
it.
one-
Bildup,
download it
BILDUP dot AI. So build, there's no
Okay.
U
There's
in
no
build.
U.
It's not
Yeah.
build, it's build.
Build, yes.
So
Bildup,
I want to
yeah.
download it now.
Yes, we have currently our private beta phase. So limited users, you can go to the website and request for access. So once we give you access, you can access it.
Oh.
So we've started onboarding schools. So
Oh.
we've just onboarded the school last week, and this next coming week, we're going to onboard many schools.
Okay,
Right.
amazing, amazing.
Interesting.
We love this. We
Yeah.
love this for the Southeast. We love this for you. We love this
Thank
for
you.
Nigeria. Thank you one more time for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
to you, viewer, thank you for sticking with us throughout this show. I mean, it's been a very exhaustive one. We've touched almost every aspect of
Yeah,
life
we did.
entirely. From our newspaper review to our trips around the region to our conversation about business and, financial empowerment. And now we have just wrapped up with this very powerful conversation on AI. And of course, we promise more. We promise to do more next week. We promise to do more every Saturday as long as you stay tuned to Afia TV. My name is Divine Onoha, and it's bye from here.
And my name is Ogochukwu Osai. See you next week.